and buckles and bows I could fasten upon it. I hope it will go with the bunch of blue ribbons to tie up my bonny brown hair.
Winterbeast. People are being killed off near a popular mountain lodge. Well, not so popular that it had more than 4 extras. And it may be linked to the area around the lodge that has a legend claiming that it's haunted by deadly Native American curses that everyone kind of finds out about around the same time, even the locals. What is the Winterbeast, or what is a Winterbeast? Is it this guy in the Oni mask? Is it the claymation bird, the totem pole, weird tree monster? I don't know. I'm serious. I don't know. If the movie ever explained it, the dialogue was probably drowned out by the poor choice of music, the VHS warble, or just wasn't mentioned. Which honestly is how most of the monsters work in this film. They show up, they scream, they leave, and nobody, including the characters, seems to know why or that they ever existed. They just they just pop up and then leave. So let's talk about this fever dream and how it came to be made.
Who made this monstrosity?
Shot over the course of 5 years, Winterbeast was the imaginations of Mark Frizzle and Christopher Thies. Frizzle was a stop-motion animator working at the Olive Jar Animation Studios, which doesn't seem to be around anymore, but was an award-winning studio at one time. Thies was a young filmmaker with one short horror film under his belt. He showed his short film to Frizzle, who saw potential and asked if he had anything else in the works. Thies mentioned Winterbeast, which at that point in time was basically a title and a pile of notes. So they decided to take those notes and organize them into a script. And I wish that was a little less literal. Also, I should mention that in my research, I couldn't find any other reference than the movie and the IMDb page, but the movie had a second writer. Yeah, a second writer. Joseph Calabrese, who, out of the big three, director, writer, producer, actually has several credits, even if not given credit, and has gone on to have a pretty decent, albeit under the radar, career in the mid to low budget half of cinema. So, very interesting. Winterbeast, from start to finish, was a passion project. The budgets were humble, the casting was who shows up first, and the entire production had to be scheduled around the creators' actual paying jobs. Frizzle, the producer, editor, and head stop-motion leader, or maybe the only stop-motion creator, did most of the effects work at his day job, the Olive Jar Animation Studios. He'd show up early in the morning to animate monsters for Winterbeast before clocking in to make commercials for his clients. Some of those clients being MTV. The live action part of this movie, its footage was shot around Massachusetts, mainly the streets of Concord.
Now that is absolutely incredible.
But there was a Native American themed tourist stop that was used constantly. Formerly called the Big Indian Shop, it's now known as Native Views. And I still think it's open, but you might have to go there. The rest was shot on hand-built sets, and I'm using that word set generously, that stayed standing in a rented studio space for years. Mostly that was the lodge interior, I think also the lodge exterior, and of course also like the ranger station and a few other little places. In interviews on the recent Blu-ray, Frizzle admits the production kept falling prey to distractions, usually involving money or the promise of distribution. Whenever an investor showed interest, the crew would stop shooting to cut a trailer or a teaser, hoping that their footage might magically attract real funding. And by the looks of it, never really did. This movie kind of looks like it was financed on the promise of paying Uncle back for his reinvestment of $2,000 once you've hit it big. By 1989, after 5 years of developmental hell, the cast and crew were exhausted and Winterbeast fizzled out. Frizzle moved westward for work, taking the incomplete film with him. Eventually, he decided to resurrect it, stitching together whatever footage he had into this finished movie, be it literate or not, which was released in 1992. The final product that we see today is what happens when you pick up a production 3 years later. Frizzle tried to fill in the gaps. There were scenes that were never filmed, shots that were unusable because of various disasters, be it time or crew. So he had an ingenious idea. Let's add monsters. When he returned to Winterbeast, there was no deadline anymore. So he and some friends had all the time in the world to turn the movie into a creature feature, which is why the monsters seem to be, well,
Just, they don't make sense.
with that kind of freedom, the team conjured as many creatures and spirits as they could to populate the haunted forest, which is why none of them have backstories, coherent understandings of why they're there or why they look that particular way, and make absolutely no sense. They're just there to fill in the movie. This may shock you. Winterbeast was initially panned. Yeah. The less than stellar acting and incomprehensible plot convinced early viewers it was a mess. Now, this is a little weird when it comes to low budget horror. I don't think anyone would be snooty about a movie having bad acting when it's a low budget horror movie. But more receptive viewers eventually found it and came to appreciate it for its strange, scrappy, and I guess
It's weird.
personally, I kind of wish that either the whole movie was stop motion or none of the movie was. But the stop motion gave me very 1960s monster movie vibes, that era of dinosaurs and creature films that weren't good, but yeah, I respected the attempt. The non-monster claymation scenes also have their moments. They frequently feature actors performing. Yeah, in scenes where different shots were clearly filmed months or years apart. Mustaches go from looking realish to outright fake to blonde back to red. The mullet changes lanes. The sky jumps from bright and sunny to overcast and back again. Boom mics, shadows, and this scene, the monster kills this person, but it's not the guy wearing shades. But this was a repeating pattern over and over. Watching Winterbeast became less about the story, which wasn't there, and more about spotting what changed between shots. It's basically I Spy with a VHS warble as music. In one memorable scene, a misunderstanding of how to frame conversation makes the lead ranger appear to fluctuate in height while talking to a shorter coworker. Blocking also seemed to be a foreign concept to many of the actors and crew. Because of how low budget the movie is, though, they were pressured to keep scenes to a single master shot to save film. That's why scenes don't make sense as characters walk off set and return because the camera can't follow them. But this movie is the work of a very green movie making team, which shows. But they were learning, and that's all you can ask for your crews to do, is to learn. But because it took 5 years to make, what ended up happening is everyone got burnt out, which ended up taking a bunch of people who make crazy, absolutely bananas horror movies, low budget, and it just removed them from that society, which is, a disappointment. There is no plot. Number 4, I'm kidding. Kind of. Let's linger on number 3 a touch longer. Is there a plot to this movie? Yes and no. There's a premise. People are being killed off near a popular mountain lodge that has a legend about the surrounding woods and mountains being haunted by a Native American curse. That's the premise. Is there actually a story? No. It goes from one scene to the next with little understanding between them. Claymation monsters appear and kill people, which then is pushed past, ignored, or has no grander purpose other than padding the movie. What should have been our big reveal that Sheldon is summoning the demon monsters or is the only Native American demon at the end of the movie is completely chucked out the window in order to destroy his head, which, according to some websites, was done because of tight film restraints and the actor forgetting his lines, which he had lines. So, no, there is no plot. There is no grander story. Things just happen. let's see. The monsters in this, they don't have any origins or understandings or reappearances. They just kind of happen and then we move past it. So let me see if I can remember all of the monsters. We have Stretch Armstrong, the tree monster, totem pole, plucked turkey, nonsensical Native American mummy, which may or may not be Sheldon from the lodge. It's never explained. The female ranger finds the mummy in a graveyard dedicated to Sheldon. And then Sheldon strings her body up in his, set lounge that's about 4 feet wide, which she also twitches throughout. Anyways, we have the Oni. Is that it? Oh, we have Bigfoot that attacks these two ladies. Alien weird monster guy. Some people say that there's a mole monster. I haven't seen it. Chestburster twice. And I think that's it. The only one of note, since the rest are just silly inserts to stretch the movie, is the Oni. Does it make sense? No. Is it actually a cool design? Yes. Whoever did the Oni job, unless someone tells me this was a Halloween costume outfit that anyone could buy, it's fantastic. But if it's a Halloween outfit, I'm going to be angry because, that's actually a really cool outfit. What can we say about the final 10 minutes? The final 10 minutes of this movie is the definition of hectic, nonsensical mishmash of some story from another movie inserted into this one. The fact that the final 10 minutes stands out so much to me should tell you why it's special. Throughout the movie, we had creature of the minute features.
The cabin's alive as even the old
dialogue.
ski area.
Maybe that's where Tello is. Maybe he's holding up in one of those old cabins waiting for the storm to clear.
That's a possibility.
Pointless fist fights.
Conversation here. Well, you're sure doing a shitty job. What's going on here? Who the hell are you?
No use of handguns outside the explosive flares. Explosive gasoline. One creepy dance to a children's song.
We'll go with the front of the ribbon to tie up my bonny brown hair. And it's all here, what can the matter be?
But the final 10 minutes is mixture of giant plucked turkey where our heroes run and hide before immediately moving over to Oni fighting in the woods, with no explanation of why either of them exist, or who this guy is, or why all the dialogue had to be covered up with a really bad music choice, which I keep calling the VHS warble because that's what it sounds like. And this is the edition that Vinegar Syndrome put out, which means it's the best version. And and it's just bananas. Things just happen. They just wrap up the story. There's no build up to it. There's no understanding of it. It just happens. It's an experience. It's not a movie. So there is the movie. If it's considered a movie. It's weird, kind of creepy with some good claymation. The dialogue is nothing to write home about. But if you like low budget horror or schlock like me, you will find this movie immensely enjoyable. Immensely. It's kind of sad that none of these guys outside of the secondary writer went on to really pursue this as a career. One of them actually passed away about 10 years ago. This movie, the movie to me isn't bad because it's not bad like modern schlock, like Sharknado or The Meg. It's bad because people making it were so green that they jumped headfirst into something that they weren't prepared for. They genuinely believed that they could make this movie in a weekend. Took them 5 years. They were burned out, and the movie only got finished because the producer finished it after a 3-year hiatus where him and his buddies filled all the gaps in with a bunch of claymation monsters, and he sliced up all the film as best as he could to make it seem slightly coherent. So, is it bad? To a degree. Is it so bad that it's good? Yes. Outside of that, you guys have a good one. Bye.
Next time, we hunt for bears.